Okay. Go ahead and bring up Xcode.
Please wait. What is going on? I almost have a.
And then create a new Xcode project. And choose your single view app again.
I really submitting it.
And we're just going to test, so you can call it a dummy name. Test underscore example. Typically in programming, I never put spaces. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. You saw earlier when you put a space in that name, it broke your Android Studio. So that's why, just to be on the safe side, I never put them. If I want like a gap there, I put an underscore. And then I'll click on next. And you can click create there. By the way, when it talks about creating the source control, you can uncheck that. We're not doing anything so intense so we need to actually maintain any version controls. If you leave it checked, it's no big deal. It still works. Just puts extra files on your computer. I'll go ahead and maximize that a little bit.
I don't even get this is the latest science.
Now, if I click main storyboard, remember that comes up with this. Over here on the side, you'll see your components you can add on there. We took a look at the page, or the label, the button, and the text field before. So we're gonna start looking at some of these other items. Just to refresh your memory, though, let's go ahead and create an app to calculate weight. So we got our text field here. Drag and drop that on there. Another text field, drag and drop that. Label, come over here and drag that. Label, drag that over here. Button, come here, put a button in the middle there. And got another text field here. And then drop on another label. Over here in the far right, you can see all the different items that go along with each component. Okay, so I want this to say mass. If I double click it, I can type in mass. Double click this, I can type in gravity. For my button, double click that, and then I can say calculate. Double click label here, and we can put in weight. Text box doesn't actually make sense for a or text field doesn't make sense for the answer because that implies you can input something in there, and our program is supposed to calculate it. But we'll just work with text fields so far. Now, when you click each one of these, over here on the side, you see different options you can choose. Choose a background image, border style,
It's not letting me click into it.
we'll just click into what?
Not seriously. Thank you very much. I couldn't change the name. Like, I kept on clicking in and it wouldn't click in so I could change the name.
You have to do it real fast. Because I was doing that, I was clicking too slow. And
how fast do I have to go?
did you get... Now, the other way you can do it is if you have mass selected, then it's a second item down here. See how it says mass? So you can manually type it in over there. You can do alignments, minimum font size, so you can adjust that.
What if we used a slider instead of a text box to put the number? It's like 1 to 1,000.
Yeah, we can. We'll look at that also.
Okay.
So you can do that. Now, I have to refresh my memory how to retrieve the value, but I'm sure it's something like .get something or not. Wait a minute, I'm taking Android Studio. Yeah, it's different because here you make the automatic connection. You don't have to do the get. Okay, so that's probably good. Button, I wonder what's special about the button. You can make it opaque, hidden. You might say, well, why do you want to hide it? You know, if you have a button that should only appear after they input the data, then that's where you'd hide it to begin with. Then you make it visible. Because it could be that they don't put anything in here and start clicking the button, thinking it's going to work. So there's different ways you can get around that. Anyway, we'll go with that. Okay, so we want to go to our code. And, the two circles. Remember, you can shut this off now that we've got our screen design by clicking the upper right here. Shut off the utilities. You can also shut off the project window over there if you need more room. Now we're going to want to make the connection between these text fields and our code. And remember, you do that right below the UI view controller. So you click and hold on with what? Control. Drag it right there. Now you lit up, and here's where you want to give it a name. And since it's a text field, maybe I'll name it TF1. It's kind of your own convention. Maybe TF_mass would have made more sense. Hold down my control, drag and drop it in that place. And I'll call this TF2. And then I'm going to take my weight and hold down my control and drag and drop it. And let me give this one a little bit more meaningful name, TF_weight. Again, I would not recommend spaces at all if it would even let you. I'm sure Apple probably is smart enough to say, hey, you can't do that. You got to realize, though, Apple's got a lot of money behind them, right? Android Studio doesn't. Well, they do in some cases, but you know, it's kind of sprung up as an open source type, free type of project. So, guess I didn't shut off my vibrate. Let me shut off my vibrate now. Okay, now the vibrate's even off on my phone. Now remember, you hold down this, and you want to put it before that last curly brace. So I'm going to click and drag that down right in here and let up. Now it says outlet. Remember, you have to choose action. And give it a name. This is, let's see, button click. And I did an underscore there where I want a space. Type, if I do a drop down, it has to be user interface button. And the rest of it you can leave as is. So action, your name, and then your type user interface button. And click connect. So then you come over here, press enter after that beginning curly brace, and this is where you put your code. So I'll do a var, the sum is a int. And then we're going to let num1 equal to int, and then call it tf1 this time, dot text. And this one has an exclamation mark on it. I brought my cheat sheet to know when to put the exclamation mark. I still haven't got used to that. Then let num2 equals to, actually, should these be integers? Mass gravity. What should they be? Doubles. So I'm going to change that. Double there. Let num1 equal to double. TF underscore text. This one. Double. Go back. This. There. Delete all my code. Double in TF2 underscore text. Exclamation. So now I want to add them together. Or not add them. What do I want to do? Multiply them. So probably the sum is inappropriate, right? What would be better for the sum? Wait. And num1 and num2, what would be probably better there? Mass and gravity? There we go. So then the weight is going to equal to mass times gravity. And the fact it's giving me errors must mean that's where I need to put exclamations. There we go. Now I want to write that back out to the screen. So what I call that? TF underscore something. Wait.
Yeah.
Equals string of weight. Why am I putting semicolons there? There we go.
Stop it, Sting.
Mine?
Can I assign value of type?
No, it's wrong.
Cannot assign value.
Oh, you have to put those.
Oh, I didn't put dot text. I forgot. The TF underscore weight is the actual entire object. So it doesn't make any sense to assign it to that. You're assigning it to a property.
Right.
See, like if you do a TF underscore weight dot, see, a lot of these are the things you can actually assign. You can change a border style programmatically. Delegate, delete backward, draw text. Font, you can change the font dynamically. Okay. Everybody good down to that point?
Yep. We're good.
So let's run it. See what it looks like. See if it works. And my mass, I'll put in 33.2. Gravity, I'll put in 9.8. And click calculate. And that looks about right for multiplying 33 times 9. With some, well, yeah, I think it is. Because 9.8 is almost 10, right? 10 times 33 is about 330. So I can buy that answer.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Oh no. Here we go again.
You get an error?
Yeah, whenever I try to run it, it went to that stupid other window tab thing. I did exactly.
You are smart.
How did we fix that the other day?
We did.
We didn't.
We made an entire new one.
Then I was watching the end. Let's see if I can
Get enough.
Now, did it work when I was watching it the second time?
It worked whenever I redid it.
Yeah.
But then the first time we were confused. What was wrong? And I did exactly.
Oh, you just need to close it out.
It worked.
It's gone.
Oh, why did I make it? No, I need a tissue. Go get one since I'm trying to figure this out.
When you get back, like, so guys, turn in that project. Like, no.
IP action. 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 Give it name. It shows type user interface button.
So nice. This is really teeing me off right
Control. Drop that on here.
Basically, this is how I set
User name.
this is not supposed to sit in here. This? No, because I can just set the old MacBook down. And just work like this.
What? Ah, okay. Woo.
There you go.
That's in my nightmares.
How strange.
That word is super. Because it's stuck in my head.
Well, at least you'll be able to do the design part, and then when you go to do the project, I'll come over here and sit and watch and see if I notice anything different you're doing.
Oh,
There's words in
Because there's only like 2 places you can do attachment. You know, we attach the variables, we attach the code, and that's it.
yeah.
Strange. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to Xcode. And we want to now extend this. So we want to put an if statement in here. And we really haven't talked about an if statement in this class at all. We have in the other class. So we'll kind of review a little bit on that since it's brand new. Okay, so after we do this button click, we want to maybe put a statement down here on whether they're overweight or not. So we want to be give them a nice friendly, you're too fat or something like that. Or you're gravity challenged. I can make fun of that because I'm the biggest guy in here. Now I'm going to go back to my design. So where's the design? Oh, there, this one. Shut off my code. You go to it just seems backwards to me. You click the lines and it shows a standard editor. Which ones look like lines of code?
The standard editor.
Standard editor, yeah, so it throws me each time. Now we want to drop something on there like a label. So we'll click and drag that here. And maybe we'll want to put a label in front of it. I think we can change the value of a label. We'll see. And the label here, I can double click it. And I can say status. Now I need to attach this label to my code. So I'm going to go back to my two circles. Shut off my right-hand side.
I have glasses for me. Doesn't mean I can see all excuses.
Now I'm gonna hold down my control and I'll drag that label up here with my rest of my UI text fields and let go. I want to give it a name like LB underscore status, and then press enter. And you'll see that it creates a user interface label up here.
Where do we bring the...
You want to drag it up here at the top. Right.
Status or label? Status.
Oh, LB underscore status is what I called it.
So, does it matter which one you put in there?
It should be the one where you're going to write your text to. Like we want to write our text back to this blank.
Serious?
So then down here, where we want to set that. So we're going to say LB underscore status dot text equals, and just write just checking. We haven't put our if statement in there yet. A lot of times when you're coding, you break it down pieces by piece. You get a little piece working, make sure that's working, and then you try the next piece. Now I'm going to click the little black square up in the upper left-hand corner to stop the emulator and simulator. And then I'll click the triangle to run it again. Except for you. And put some values in here. Click calculate. Now you notice what it says. It says just. So it's cut part of all that off. So let's go back and take a look at that. I can click and drag the far right hand side. Now let's run it again. I'm guessing it'd blow up if you don't put numbers in here, but yeah, crash. Now it says just checking, so it shows all of our space.
That's neat. I wish I could see that.
So now we're going to put an if statement in here on their weight. And you do an if, and then begin in parentheses, and you check their weight. And I'm not sure if it needs exclamation or not. We'll see. I don't think so, since it's not on the right-hand side. If weight is less than 200, then I'm going to do an enter, and I'll put my curly bracket, and I'll put my closing curly bracket after this. And then I'm going to say that they're just normal. Let's say normal. I don't know. Is 200 even if you're talking about, because I know with physics it's all in metric. We'll pretend it's. Now, if they're not less than 200, I can do an else and do another curly bracket. And I'll say LB underscore status dot text is equal to overweight.
Wait. We got rid of the just checking.
Yeah, we were just playing with the. I wanted to show that the label needed to be resized.
Okay. Then I'll just leave it. I'll just change just checking to normal.
That's what.
Seriously?
Push. Now let's run it, guys. It'll fail if one of that was tells me. What did
I wonder if it's where you save your file, your project at.
Yeah.
If you didn't have rights in that particular.
What are you doing?
Did you save it on your flash drive?
I don't have my flash drive currently.
The what?
I don't have my flash drive currently.
Oh.
But if I did, then yes. Oh, really? I think I saved it to the desktop.
Because I'm sure you're doing everything I'm doing.
I'm doing exactly what you're doing.
Everybody got that code in?
Yep.
Okay, so now if I run it,
Is there a way we can actually
I was already running. Okay, stop the current one.
What's our mass?
No, I don't even know. What's mass in grams?
Yeah.
Mass can be anything.
Oh, it can be anything?
Yeah. Hey, Jennifer. What a wonderful song. Really?
Oh, really?
Then if I put in, isn't gravity 9.8?
160.
Oh, am I even close?
9 point, yeah, it's like 9.8.
Okay.
But I go by G, so I say 1. Earth's gravity is 1 G.
See, like there, if my mass is 200 and gravity is 9.8, if you multiply those two together, it gives you about over 1,800, right? So notice it comes back and tells us overweight. If I change mass, on the other hand, to 1, and click calculate, it says normal. So that demonstrates, the use of that. You know what I thought would be really cool? Maybe there's an app for it. An app that, I don't know if there's a database for that or not that keeps track of all the sales tax. But like if you wanted to buy something, like buying a car, if you could put 10,000 in and then it showed every place within like a 50-mile radius, how much it would cost in those different locations. A lot of people used to go down to Oklahoma to buy their cars because the tax is less there. Okay, so.
Okay, so it weighs 72,574 grams. That's the depth.
Is it? Now I'm gonna go ahead and stop the emulator here.
Okay.
I weigh 8 pounds.
And that demonstrates a use of an if statement. Now all of you should never mind. I didn't set it up on the Mac. So remember what you saved this as. So go ahead and save it if necessary.
Should I really?
You might be able. I'm gonna watch over while you're doing the project. And then I'm gonna close the project.
File save.
File close.
File close.
File.
Now we want to go back in Xcode and we're gonna create a new Xcode project. Do a single view app. And I'm gonna call this sales options.
Hot sales.
Sales underscore options.
Sales underscore options.
Now click next. Click create.
Couldn't find it in my.
Now I'm going to expand this. I'm going to my main storyboard. Now we're going to put a text box up here at top. Text field, I should say. And I'll put a label. I'm going to double click label. And I'll type sales. Now run it.
Alright, let's see what happens.
Alright.
Yeah.
Did it work? So it's working at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna find out the cause of that. Okay, so now I want to have some different options set. So the you see the switch? It's green with a little white circle in it. We're gonna drop the switch on there.
We didn't do this.
So drop a switch there, drop a switch here,
That's awesome issues.
and a switch here. Now you can select multiple ones. If I click down here in the white space and I hold down my mouse and drag up, you see it selects all those, so I can move them over if necessary. Now I'm going to put labels on the front of them. Maybe I want to, and I'll double click the label here.
Oh.
Maybe I want to ship next day.
Next day shipping.
So you got somebody, or you creating an app for somebody to order something online, for example. I want to ship it next day. Then I want to drop on another label. So I can see it. There it is. Okay. For this next one. What else could you do with shipping?
2 days.
2 day? Yeah. Ship 2 day. Now you would have to design this a little bit differently, because if I selected the ship 2 days, you wouldn't want to be able to select ship next day, right?
Yeah.
So as one turns on, the other one should turn off. But we'll get into that later on.
Just ship 3 items on the.
And I'm going to drop on maybe insurance. So I double click this. And I put insurance. Now we're going to drop on a total option. So I'm going to come down my text field. I'll drop that on here. And I'll drop on a label. And label, I'm going to double click and put total in it. And let's just run it and see if it works. I guess I got to stop my previous emulator. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay. Still working? Hasn't come up with that weird error?
Give me a second.
Okay. Now remember, your apps are designed for basically touching on the screen, right?
Hey.
So an option is a really good one to choose. Is it working?
Yes.
Okay, so good. Now if you click those, and you can envision touching those with your finger, either turns it on and off. Okay, so let's go back to Xcode.
I'm going to make an app for modern iPhone users only. The only way to get into an app is by using the 3D touch.
3D.
Push down farther.
Yeah.
You can get into it.
Design it such that they have to unlock their phone. They have to solve algebraic problems. I haven't been getting my phone since I ran this app. Well, I'm supposed to take a college algebra class. Okay. So we're going to connect it to the code now. So we'll come over to our two circles. We'll shut off some windows. Now we got our text field here. I want to again drop that below UI view controller. So hold down a control key. Maybe that's, if you're selecting a different key, maybe that's, and then I'll drag and drop it there. I'll give it a name. I'll call it TF_sales. Now this one, even though a text field probably didn't make a whole lot of sense, label's probably more appropriate. We're going to do the same thing. We'll hold down a control key, drag and drop it right below the other one. And I'll call it TF_total. Just for fun, let's go ahead and run it. Make sure it still works.
Is it just for fun or just to make sure?
It's to make
I'm
sure
just seeing if you're working.
to make sure that you are working.
Because it helps if I know where's yours breaking at. The code looks perfect. Then once you're done with that, you can click the square. Still good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to drop these switches over here. So I can hold down my control, and I'll drag and drop it over there, and I'll call this SW for switch _ next day, or ship next day. I'm putting underscores between those. You can put them all together. It's your choice. And then connect. And then hold down click this next one, hold down my control, drag it, drop it over. SW _ ship _ today. And I grab this other one. Hold down my control and drag it and drop it over. And this will be SW _ insurance.
So we can't put dashes in.
One assignment would be like, use a switch, and it'll be like add, multiply, subtract, divide, and all that. You click on, you use one switch, and it pops up deal. Text boxes, then you can add. You can do a different switch, and that pulls up the subtract. Different switch pull and multiply, and different switch pull and divide.
I didn't put my button on here, did I? There is ways to program these such that when it clicks it, it automatically updates at the bottom.
Is it fun?
But
Do that.
Well, I want to first do this piece, and the next piece will be to learn how to do like a subroutine, a method we'll call, because it's going to be the same code for all three. So that's like step next phase. So let's go back to our design. So I'll click the lines that should be code. Okay. And I want to move this down. I didn't leave enough space. So again, I'll use a rectangular select. Move those down a little bit. Choose my button. Drop my button here. Double click my button because I want to say something like calculate. Now, if I go back to my go back to my code. We want the button to be to set up. First, though, let's run our code. I'm guessing that this next piece is where it breaks your code when it does. Because the definition is up above with the UI under the UI view controller. I wouldn't think it would cause the error that you're getting. When you run it? Really? What they coded yet? That's what his was doing.
Is yours breaking too? I don't know what's.
So yours broke too?
How is it breaking? Like what happens?
Well,
you don't know. Some kind of bizarre error.
when you click this, right? Let me see this. It's gonna start it, and it's. That's what happens. Alrighty, here we go. That's we'll run it all over.
Okay, we got our code here.
Yay! Shut up. Shut up. Oh my gosh, everything is exactly like that.
Such fluent motions.
Calculate.
Maybe secretly Russian.
That's cool. I have a Russian friend.
Mix station.
Yes, that's literally everything's the same.
Everybody's the same.
Yeah, it's 1%.
It's how boring it gets done.
Right?
But then again, I'd have to use that weight calculator, and then I'd say, okay, and I'd be like,
I'm so sorry,
I'm so sorry, Mouse.
this is not your fault.
Wait, what brand is that, Mouse?
It's just insignia.
It's all breaking because it's not an apple. You need the,
Your mouse isn't even an Apple mouse.
yeah, but I'm using an Apple adapter. Maybe he just doesn't like insignia.
Why?
It needs to be a wireless mouse that connects it to a wire. It's like, we can't forgive his errors. He used an insignia mouse. Now it's just going to permanently break.
It's been permanently breaking already.
I like this. Always using that insignia.
Oh, leave me.
I'm gonna have to read that off in just a minute.
You're gonna wish that you were dead.
You gotta get
I don't want to choose. Take 2 chairs. Thank you, Jim.
I feel like burping. I was expecting. But it like stopped right here.
Now, what does that error say?
Thread 1, signal.
Is it thread space 1 or thread 1? Space 1?
Thread.
Yeah, maybe it's space right now.
It's the signal.
Signal.
Sigabert?
Yes.
Sigabert. Xcode 9. That's so strange you guys are getting it, but the two of us aren't getting it. You have a lingering connection to a no longer consistent outlet. Double check this via the main storyboard. Thanks, that's a wonderfully clear and helpful answer. Lingering connection to a longer existent outlet.
You gotta wipe out your lingering connection. Let her go.
No, man. You know how hard it is to just let go?
Listen, I know insignia means a lot to you. Yeah.
Dude, you don't know me. You don't know her. Right?
Insignia.
Would you just go?
Now, both of you, as I'm doing this, you do the same thing and let's compare.
You can reach it.
No, yours is working. So. Now, does this match?
Okay.
App delegates.swift. Do you have these two, UI responder, UI application delegate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
Oops.
Yeah.
Okay. This is just our code. So our window. Info plist. Yeah.
Oh no. See what I said?
I don't remember where that was at. Liam, do you remember
What?
where those connections were at?
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought that when we clicked on the error and then it took us to that place and we stopped.
I didn't even pay attention where it was at.
I didn't either.
So if I come here and
You guys take a break. There's a student out here that has a couple of questions about your program.
okay,
So whenever you get a chance, don't cut it short today.
okay. Now the let me see. This is IB outlet, UI switch. So where were those at? I'll come back to that because I'm not remembering where it's at, to be honest.
When your mom yells at you for taking a picture.
Now, see, that really occurs when you delete it. Did you delete any of those?
I didn't delete anything. I just did exactly what we have been doing.
I only deleted the source code.
Well, let's try something to see if we could fix yours. If you come up here and for your source code, go ahead and delete all of those. Now, not everything, just the ones we created, those connections. You don't have to.
No, you're
So delete those,
okay.
and then let's then run it just to see if you got that error disappeared. Hey, I got it now.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
So fantastic. Maybe that'll allow us to go to it.
Well, I think down.
Remember how I said when I asked you if you deleted it?
Yeah.
So I figured deleting it would do it.
Buy all new MacBooks.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta take this one home, huh? That sucks.
Yeah, you guys get to take it home and
Yeah.
See, ours is different because it actually gave us thread.
You make me Yeah, that's cool.
Now we know how to break it.
Yeah.
But see, that's not what you guys were getting though. You were getting it just well, let's add it back in now. Maybe that'll fix it.
Control V.
No. Actually do a physical add.
Ah.
So we got gonna hold down those, do a control. Oops.
So I can all that. I'm just gonna keep that.
Where in the world's my code? App delegate.swift. View controller.swift. There it is. Okay, so view controller.
I swear. Let's see.
I'm going to hold down my control and drop those in there. TF underscore sales.
You made my head itch. No, that's not.
Boy, I really broke mine now.
No, no.
Were you able to add yours back in?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, wait a minute. I didn't do action. Never mind. Or non-action. No, that's right. Outlet. These
I
are...
added everything back together. It was supposed to be.
Now it gives you like 4 errors. And stuff.
Is it working now?
No.
Ah, that's great.
That should be called troubleshooting.
Okay, well, let's start over. We'll do it a little simpler.
No, please.
So go ahead and close that.
It won't even let me close it. Because it's error closing out the
Error closing.
Okay, there.
Okay. Then we'll do file new project. Single view app. And then I'm going to say sales underscore option part 2. Click next. Create. Go to the main storyboard.
Whoa. You can't say something like that.
Now we want to drop on a text field. Drop on a switch. Drop on a button. And drop on another text.
You want me to just wait with my thing?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be to the same point as us here pretty soon. Now I'm going to move those down. I'll drop on 2 more switches. I'm just not going to go with the effort of labeling everything. I'm going to run it, just make sure it runs. Okay, so it's running now. Everybody to that point? So then you want to shut off your two windows. Give yourself a little bit more room. We're going to drag, hold down our control. We'll drag our text field over there and call it TF underscore sales. Connect. I'm going to drop over my next text field. So hold down my control. And I'll call it TF underscore total. And I'll drop these over. Hold down my control, drag and drop it. SW1. Or this was, what was this, next day or something like that? Next day. Click and drag that and drop it. Try that again. SW today. And take my third one, hold down my control and drag and drop it. And then I want to have SW underscore insurance.
So I put S for switch and then TD for today. And I realized that spells out ST.
Now go ahead and run it. Just make sure we're not broke still. Not that we can fix it right now. Just for humor's sake.
That's humorous, like the phone in your body.
Okay, so I'm going to stop that. Now for my button, I'm going to... Everybody working still? What?
No.
Wait.
Drag your button and put it down here in this space. We want to choose an action. View controller is fine. Name is button, btn underscore calculate. Do a drop down, user interface button, connect. And run it again.
What?
I can't imagine.
It works.
Yours got an error?
No, mine works.
So what in the world is causing you guys to break?
Mine's doing it again.
So you did those exact same steps.
Exact same steps. Duh.
Oh well. We'll continue on, and then I'll watch you as you're doing it.
Yeah.
So unless you see what he's doing different.
Why would seriously? That's just so stupid.
Stop.
Sunday.
You still like Xcode better? I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not going to jinx myself.
Because you're not having any problems with
Exactly.
See, I've never had mine break like that.
What is going on?
I mean, besides physically deleting those connections, and oftentimes you can delete them and it's fine. I did a clean on yours and it didn't clean out the issues. I don't know. But anyway, we'll continue on. And so now I want to declare the total as a double. Now to begin with, we're going to bring in sales. So we let sales equal to double, and then our TF underscore sales dot text exclamation. At this point, the total is equal to sales. guess I need an exclamation. Now I'm going to do an if statement here. So I'm going to say if switch on next day dot is on. And then beginning curly bracket, closing curly bracket. Then we're going to say the total is equal to the total plus $50. So to get next day for this particular product, they have to pay an extra $50. I guess I need a exclamation here. What doesn't it like? Assuming I can spell total right. Let's try that again.
He had to.
So then we'll say our TF underscore total dot text is equal to string and the total. You get that, Coda?
No.
Yes.
Dot IS somewhere. What is
No,
that?
why do you need for my parents?
That checks to see if you pushed it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's 10:30. Wow, time went fast.
Now if we run this, and we'll go ahead and stop the other code.
What do you want? Can't have it on TV?
If we put $1,000 in the blank, and I don't remember which one is next day, but I think it's the first one. If I shut off those other two and like I had this one chose, and click button, see how it adds $50 on?
No, I don't see how it's $50. That's kind of stupid.
Yours is broke.
Yes. Continue this Thursday. It's a wow.
Does everybody see in general what it's supposed to do?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all.
Now I want you to develop an app, your choice, where you use switches. Now I know some of you just be able to do the design and then put your code in there, but I think you see the format of it, more or less. So you can kind of do that, and then I'll do some digging to see if I can figure out why that error is popping up on some of your machines. So I'm sure you're not getting the same machine every time, but that'll be the project that'll be due. You should at least use 2 switches.
So you want us to do this right now?
Yes.
Neat.
And stop recording.